They actually have a plan for today's Nice Guys on Business podcast. You don't want to miss it.
And the point of having your presence handled is so that you can be out there with other people and not have your attention so much on you, but that it just brings forth a certain approachability through the camera. People want to be able to be with you, and that's where your presence comes in. And presence is really an inner game. It's the place where your values, your mood, your ethics, how you take care of yourself, all translates in your presence.
What are we going to do today? Same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Oh, and listen to the Nice Guys on Business podcast, of course. Running a business is hard. Being a business leader is even harder. The Nice Guys bring in top industry pros to help your business prosper in a tough world. Get real advice from real people to get you real results today. Now it's time for the Nice Guys on Business. Here's your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Nice Guy community, if you're like me, you want to be extraordinary in every aspect of your life. I mean, who strives just to be average? Time to light up the world, and today's guest, Peggy Scott, with 30 years of empowering women and men to stand in their power, she is here in their confidence and in their authenticity, producing breakthroughs in their performance, helping them get results. Peggy, I'm excited to chat with you. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
I'm happy to have you here. And take me through a little bit of the beginning stages. I know you're someone that has made the transition from, like, let's call it the real world to the online space. Tell me what that was like for you, and then we'll start talking about some of your programs, because I do think that your background and how you've arrived here is just as important as the things that you offer to those that you support.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've been in business for 30 plus years, and chiefly been at one-on-one or in person, on stage, doing coursework in person as well. And of course, things have changed since then. And just getting on the platform to do podcasting, and also I'm going to have a YouTube channel and such, but to really maximize this whole business of being out in a broader sense on these podcasts. And
how has that felt for you? Has it been, I know when I went from, you might not know any of my background, which is totally fine. I wouldn't expect you to. I spent 30 years as a DJ in the bar mitzvah world in the DC marketplace, and making the online change.
I love it.
Making the online change about 7 years ago to podcasting. I wrote a book and then came out with the podcast. Was a complete 180 degrees away from what I was doing, which was live events. So going from a live event, you speaking, through doing from the platform where you might have dozens, if not hundreds of people or more in front of you, to being in this environment where you're literally speaking to a glowing green light or red light on your camera. How does that feel? It's got to feel scary.
Well, a little bit, yeah. And here's the thing, I'm fearless. And I also ask people to get up and do it and just be fearless and, make it happen. But no, I was in the corporate world for a while. I've just, been on stage, as I said. So now and that's the one thing from the pandemic that's kind of come up as a possibility here, is to be able to reach more people this way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a little bit, it's a way bit different in that, I'm seeing people like just on the Zoom sessions or just recording like this. But I just visualize people out there, and I visualize a person in front of me. And then because that's the one thing that had been missing for me, is to be able to have contact and connection with people in person. But I'm doing it here, and it's happening, and being effective at it, actually.
Well, you talk about in a lot of your work, you talk about the importance of presence.
Yes.
So maybe let's talk about that as it relates to even your own experience with your presence. Your presence has gone from someone that was in-person presence to someone that has a virtual presence. So why is it important for someone to understand and kind of embrace their presence and be aware of who they are and what they're doing?
Oh, it's a great question. Here's what I think. I think, in person, we have our personalities and our ways of showing up in the way we dress, the way we posture ourselves, our language, all that. But yeah, on the Zoom and on these other formats, I think your presence is even more important because now you have to reach and touch people. And the point of having your presence handled is so that you can be out there with other people and not have your attention so much on you, but that it just brings forth a certain approachability through the camera. People want to be able to be with you, and that's where your presence comes in. And presence is really an inner game. It's the place where your values, your mood, your ethics, how you take care of yourself all translates in your presence. So when you show up online, I say make sure that everything, and then we go on the outer part of it, which is your clothing and how you sit and talk and all that. You want to make sure before you get online, especially now, that you have all that handled so that you can reach your audience, because really it's about being out here with others.
It's hard sometimes. There's so many factors that you're not in control of. When you're doing a speech and you're showing up at let's say a corporate at a convention that's going on, you're not in charge of the lighting, you're not in charge of the sound. But
Right.
when you're up on stage and you're in poor lighting or your sound sounds really poor, that's a reflection upon on you. Oftentimes people will say, geez, she doesn't even have her sound together, or wow, that she's not in the right lighting, or I can't in this case, look, you might not be wearing, or you might be wearing the perfect thing, or you might not be wearing the right thing. All of those things really do affect your personal brand. I mean, I don't know the exact and maybe you do because this is your environment, but how long does it take people to actually make a judgment on you before you even open your mouth to say your first word?
As soon as they put eyes on you.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if you think about it, we're judging and evaluating people all the time. But what are we basing that on? How they show up, their appearance, maybe even their body language or the way they speak, the tone of their voice. All of that comes into play, but that's seconds. 90%. I mean, there have been lots of surveys and that on how important your image, your presence is. It's like 90% of the impact that we make is through our appearance, how we show up. And if you think about it, you walk out and talk to people and you already made a judgment about them just based on how they show up.
Yeah, it is it's really incredible. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue, because it really is incredible how it's I don't remember the sporting legend that said it, but isn't something like 90% is just showing up? Or maybe it wasn't a sports legend. I'm trying to remember who. I'm gonna
it might
type
have
in
been
the
me.
quote. Yeah, it is. How crazy is that? It talks nothing about your ability to deliver the products and services that you have. It talks nothing about your business or your personal experience with whatever it is that you're talking about. It really has to do with you showing up. That's number one, and how you show up. It's number two. So you could know less about your subject matter, but show up with enthusiasm. And you could soar through an interview or a conversation that you're having with someone.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. We live in a physical world. We relate that way. And how you show up, how you dress yourself, all of it needs to be considered. And many entrepreneurs and business professionals they invest a lot of money in their marketing materials to make sure that lands for people and speaks well of them. And they spend money on their education, but fail to see the importance that their overall presence, their most powerful message is how they show up, their image. And I'm talking about what they wear, how they wear it. And that's where I step in. Where do you get your ideas for all of this? We kind of mimic that and hope it works, but not always. So
yeah,
there it is.
So one of the things that Peggy is offering to all of you in our community, all of our nice guy community, There's a PDF that she is going to be sharing. It's called 5 Ways to Impact Your Image. There is a sheet, and it's going to be directly on her website. We'll tell you how to get that before the end of the episode. How did you learn these 5 ways? How did you know that these were the 5 ways? There's probably hundreds of ways that you can impact your image. And how did you determine that these would be the 5 that you would put into the doc that were given to our community?
Well, it's really my experience, my background, all of the years of experience of working with people in my coursework, in my coaching. That's what I do is I look at, I ask a few questions. First of all, how do you want to be perceived? Trustworthy, credibly, all that. All right, let's look at that. And then it's also, what is your mindset? How do you view yourself? And that matters. And so it's really, coming back to your question, it's really having had years and hundreds of people, thousands of people that I've worked with, that I saw, okay, there is a formula to this. And not to make it so formulaic that it's like a cookie cutter, because each and every one of us is individuals and we need to express ourselves individually. I also say manage how you dress, what you wear, and then also your well-being. If you don't have that handled, you're not going to show up powerfully. And then one of the ways that I see is your core values. Your core values really allow you to stand with dignity, integrity, or whatever it is. But that's how you can command a room without having to say a word. When I walk in the room, my values walk in with me.
One of the things that you talk about through your work also is creating a personal brand. Can you maybe share with our community a little bit about what a personal brand is and how you are, who creates your personal brand? Do your observers create it based upon the way you show up, or do you show up the way that you want your personal brand to be shared with the community?
I love this question. It's a great question, because you know what? I would say, how do you come up with your business brand? How do you come up with your marketing material? It's really got to be on point to your purpose. Mm-hmm. So what is it you want the customer, your client to see, know, respect, trust? And your personal brand, that's where someone like myself comes in and says, all right, let's take a look. Perhaps what you're wearing, how you're showing up is not getting you across, getting the results you want. So creating a personal brand, and I'm working with a gentleman right now, and I'm doing it, by the way, on Zoom, so it's wonderful. And we're even working with his closet, so it's fabulous. But the thing is, he's looking at, well, what colors should I wear? So when you put your business brand together, you're looking at the marketing, the colors, the design, all of that. So I'm looking at that with the individual I'm working with, the colors, the style. Then there's, what are your values? All of that. So it's really a whole package deal that I work with people, and I take them through this process. And we start with the inner part, which is your values, your boundaries even. This is a lot for women that I talk to, because there's a lot of those issues that are a little bit gray. Mm-hmm. And when you have healthy boundaries, and when you have your values in mind, and when you have your well-being practices taken care of, and when you know what you want to create out in the world, then we can start shaping it in your physical image, in the way you dress. And it could be the colors that throw it off, or it could be that attracts.
So tell me some of the things that people typically find that are either lacking or need to be done differently when they show up on your doorstep and say, Peggy, I'm here, fix me. Because oftentimes people are not going to show up and say, fix me. They're seeing the results of a lifetime probably of lack of having presence, or not having necessarily a personal brand, or letting their market drive what their brand is rather than them driving what their brand is based upon their personality and what they think. So what are some of the things that people are sharing or showing when they show up on your doorstep and say, I'm ready to be fixed, help me, Peggy?
There's one big question. I have no idea what I'm doing. Help me. I have a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. That's mainly women. But this gentleman I'm working with, he said, I have a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. I go, okay, well, let's weed that out and make it work for you. But here's the thing. I had a client come to me, and she's a public speaker, and she was kind of booed off the stage a few times by the people. They just didn't want to book her anymore. And the point was, she has a great message. It's all about forgiveness and this and that, but they weren't seeing her as credible so we went to work on creating a powerful stage presence. Much like her messaging, she has a powerful message, but we need it to be translated through her clothing and through her stance and through her body language and through her way of speaking and all of that. So she came to me, we worked together, and now she's totally booked and way booked for speaking engagements because she shows up as credible. And when I work with people, I'm not working with a cookie cutter design. It's like, you wear this, you're this and this. No, it's to each and every person. I'm really looking for your strengths, and I'm drawing those forward. And because we work plenty of times on what doesn't work with us. So what I'm doing is drawing those strengths forward and then cutting away anything that doesn't work. You can call me Michelangelo.
She is the Michelangelo of presence and personal branding. I love that's probably a good moniker for you to wear.
I think so, because I'm looking at the David and I'm like, oh, I see it right there, and I'm chipping away anything, and that's what I'm doing. And I really listen from my eyes, my soul, my heart, because I see people and my story goes way back where we didn't have much to work with, but I found a way. Because I had a bigger commitment to showing up and looking good and not looking like a poor child or whatever it was, to being present. And that's a scary thing for people.
Well, it's interesting point that you make, because I'm curious, do you often see it before someone else can see it in themselves? They're living it. I would think that they're seeing the results of a brand not worn well.
Yes.
And you're just seeing it for the first time. Is it easier? What's the expression? You can't see the forest for the trees. Sometimes they're so stuck in the, it's the woman that's had the same hairstyle since the 1970s. And she's like, can you, don't you do, and you can't shake her and say, don't you see this? Your hair is terrible. But you've got to be able to present it without them taking any kind of personal, my gosh, you're right. I've been wearing this same brown T-shirt for the last 10 years. I didn't think that actually had an impact on somebody hiring me or bringing me into their organization.
It's so perfect. Yeah. And here's the thing. It has to be a breakdown in some form or fashion. I want to start dating. I need to get a promotion. I need to show up as a manager. I work with a lot of people, women and men, on the presence of a leader. And what does that look like? Or I need a new headshot. This is what this gentleman is that I'm working with now. He needs a new headshot. And it was from 20 years ago. And I go, well, that's a great image, but he's not there anymore. And many times people do, you're talking about the woman with the same hairdo, or I do see it. When I look at people, I see it. But not until they come to me will I start to work with them on that. But I can see, a lot of times we are restless, with particularly women, where we don't feel comfortable. We feel like we're out of the game. Well, it may be that all we need to do is just refresh, update, reignite that passionate woman you are. And this also goes for the men I'm working with. They wore that suit, and men will hang on to clothes. Yeah. Sorry. And I go, no. Yeah.
Go ahead. I was going to say that
worked then.
Yeah, well, what happens now is, what's so funny about it that you say that is that sometimes it just requires that catalyst event. And it could be something as simple as, the guy that you see getting a new suit. Now, a new suit only really impacts, if you're only taking it for the value of the suit, it will only impact the fashion of what he's wearing. However, the fashion that he's wearing changes his attitude because now he's being perceived differently. And when he's perceived differently, he's being viewed differently by the world, which makes him feel better or differently about himself. It could be the same thing with a woman, with the way the shoes that they're wearing or the hairstyle they have or the dress that they are wearing also, or the way that they probably introduce themselves at an event, or even something as simple as a handshake.
Absolutely. Yes. And I think we've kind of lost our way a bit about showing up and dressing well and being, we've kind of gotten very relaxed about it, which is okay. But if you're out there to make an impression and be in business or engage in some project that you need to show up, it's probably a good time to take a look at your overall image and your presence. So that, and when I when I had my course with the men and they would, I take them into the store. This is one of the things as a group. And we would put new things on and their whole body language shifted from, I could show you some before and afters that are just amazing. The body language was down maybe, or the shoulders were down. But when he's in this suit or in a different set of clothes, he shows up. And that's the magic.
What's the difference between, and maybe the answer is there is no difference, but or maybe I'm just thinking too shallowly here. What is the difference between being an image consultant and being someone that helps people recognize and share their presence and their personal brand with the world?
Wow, that's a great question. So I take it. Okay, I love this because when I started out in 1982 sometime, there was Dress for Success and all this, and I thought, oh, this is all great. However, what I saw was missing was the why. And so I took on the business of getting underneath it, and that's where presence. So I am an image consultant, but it doesn't do justice to what I really am doing, and that is the presence of self, the presence of your powerful being to bring you forward. And we're not static. We're dynamic. Our lives change all the time. Jobs change, this and that. And we don't always upgrade. We upgrade our software more than we do our image, to be honest.
I would finally, I want to ask you this question because I think it probably would impact a number of people that are viewing what you do and how you do it. But I'd love to wrap up our interview with a deeper understanding of this. This isn't just somebody that is looking to extend their professional presence. This is somebody that could also be looking to extend their how they show up and apply themselves in their relationships or with their personal friendships or the people around them. So how much work do you do with someone when it comes to their personal brand as opposed to their brand that they're showing up with the world professionally for?
Well, it's all one and the same to me. I work with them on their personal brand, and that allows them to show up more effectively in their business. So, as we are out there in the world and connecting with people, our business brand is important because we're making, we're transacting business, but every day we're connecting with people. And so when I'm working with their personal brand, it will impact and of course I keep in mind, well, what are you up to? I'm retired. Okay, good. We'll do that. I'm creating a new business. Okay, great. Let's create a personal brand that's in lockstep with what you're out to create, what you want what difference you want to make out in the world.
So don't forget, Nice Guy Community, head over to the show notes. There'll be a link in the show notes for 5 ways to impact your image. If you don't see the link in there or you can't click on the link, just go over to peggy-scott.com. I'll make sure I put a link in the show notes for that so you have a hyperlink over to our website and look for the document, 5 ways to impact your image. Peggy, thank you so much for sharing what you do, how you do it on our show. I know that we'll get some positive results from our community, and I'm excited to hear the impact that you made for those that are in our community that are taking advantage of what you have to offer. Thanks for being here today.
Oh, thank you, Doug. It's been a pleasure.
Nice Guy Community, never underestimate the power of nice or the power of your presence. A special thanks to our guest, Peggy Scott. All of her information, including access to her website and that document, 5 ways to impact your image, will be right there in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
Friday advice and Tuesday interviews with people far more interesting than they are. Fill up your week with the nice guys. Have fun storming the castle.